So, hi everyone to our new session of Inside Modern Data Teams. My name is Leonard, and our today's topic is rising complexity in BI solutions, and especially in BI solution teams and modern data teams. Why did I pick this topic? Because we at Scafely think that there are some more key challenges which are coming up in the future and already are there, and we have to face them. And I would like to talk about what are those key changes. And in upcoming sessions with my other co-host, Lorenz, I will talk about, these challenges and how we face them and how you can face them. So our first key challenge is that BI solutions or BI solution projects nowadays have a broader scope. So you face problems like real-time analytics, predictive data model or predictive modeling, self-service, and reporting. And not only the data warehousing part, but also the whole every problem you have with data you face in BI solutions projects. And the second key challenge we recognize is that you need a broader skill set for this. So it's not only about building the data warehouse, it's also about building the reporting. So maybe you also need for example, a UX designer who is really focused on how the report should appear to the stakeholders. And also the roles you have in your teams are you have way more roles nowadays in modern data teams, like data engineers, data modelers, data scientists, governance specialists, and as I said, UX designer maybe also. The third challenge we have identified is that you have increased coordinations between those different roles. So the more roles you have, the more coordination you need between those roles, maybe because one person is not maybe capable of doing all those roles in one person. So you have more people who are specialized, and all those people have to be coordinated. So you have one goal and everyone works on the same goal. The fourth key challenge I would like to talk about is the technical revolution. So in our nowadays environment, BI solutions are evolving rapidly, and also cloud platforms requires ongoing upskills that you need to face all the time. For example, when you look at certifications, for example, you do in AWS, I think they are valid for 2 years because they are evolving that fast. And even after 2 years, there are completely new topics and new systems you have to learn about. And this is just one example of our technical revolution we are living right now in when we talk about BI solutions. The fifth key challenge we face nowadays is the balance, agility, and the governance. So you want to be agile and you want to deliver fast and you want to be as fast as possible for the stakeholders because the stakeholders need something and you want to bring it to them as fast as possible, as fast as you could. At the same time, there are so many regulatories parts in your projects. You have to be capable of seeing them and you have to be very accurate about them. So it's ensuring accuracy, privacy, and compliance while being agile. And this is quite hard to adapt to when you just start with a project and say, okay, let's deliver some implementation, or let's deliver fast, but still be accurate and privacy and compliance compliant. So what does those key challenges, what are the impacts of them? One of our topics is that you have role specializations. As I already mentioned, this is not like having one full stack delivery solution guy who has everything on his screen and can deliver from the source to the report. Maybe it's possible, but is it really effective? This is one of our questions we will talk about in our upcoming sessions with Lorenz together, because there are different approaches in different projects, and it's very interesting how different companies face those problems. But one solution could be, for example, that you have people who are very niche expertise in one specific part. But then while you're doing this, you maybe build higher dependency chains. For example, that you have a data engineer who has to build the pipeline, and the guy who builds the report is very dependent, also has a dependency to him. This leads to our next part, that you need stronger collaboration. And this is why we do this session here every month, because we think that modern data teams, it's really necessary that you focus on collaboration, because it's not possible for one person to be the BI solution project, for example. It's not possible that there's only one person there's no person who's capable of doing the whole BI solution project, but you have to work together as a team. What you need to do is that you have a strong collaboration and do cross the role alignment because it becomes critical nowadays. and it becomes critical because you want to avoid those silos, and not only in data silos, but also like silo thinking by persons. And as I already mentioned, you have greater governance needs. For example, when you think about banking, you have Basel, and you have to really respect those, because when you don't respect them in the beginning, you really suffer in the end from like different compliance stuff and governance stuff. How do we respond? How do we at Scalefree, or how do we talk to our customer how we should respond to those upcoming challenges, or maybe the challenges are already there and some people just try to avoid them? One of our main topic is define clear responsibilities. So who's responsible to get the data out of the system? Who's responsible to clear to bring the data into the data warehouse? Who's responsible to ensure that the data is in the right structure and stuff like this? And when you have this, when everyone in the project knows what are their responsibilities, it's way easier to collaborate together. It's way easier to bring the teams together. And even when someone does not know the answer for something, the person always for sure knows who he has to ask, because the responsibilities are clearly defined. So this is mandatory when you begin a BI solutions project, or when you want to restructure your project. Also, we always talk about being agile, and we still think you have to be agile in nowadays environment. And we already talked about this in some past sessions. But you have to use your best approach for agile. So there are different approaches, and so maybe for you the best approach is to have a continuous deployment. But maybe for other companies, especially for banks, it's not possible, because they have those regulatories and they have those big impacts when you release a report or a new dashboard or something. And so you have to define for yourself what is the best agile approach. And it can be a Scrum, it can be it can be safe. It really depends on what are your needs. The third topic is implement shared documentation. I know it's a very, very unlikely topic, but documentation really helps getting people onboarded, and it also helps people getting into new topics while they are already onboarded, maybe in other topics. So it's it's mandatory to have good documentation. And documentation is not only having a wiki and everyone documents what he has done or what she has done, but it's also about having a good data catalog. Can you track your data? Do you have a good lineage? And this is also documentation from our side, so or from our point of view. And this is very mandatory to have it also in nowadays projects. And the fourth point is cross training. So we talked about different roles, and that you have niche expertise in every role, maybe, or in different topics. But it's still very important that you have like cross-functional teams. So maybe one person only builds reports, but this person should know what the other people do. They don't have to be experts in those things, but they should know what has to be done to bring them to work, or what has to be done that he can build the report. This is just an example. So cross training and have a cross specialized teams and cross-functional teams is very mandatory also. So the key takeaway of this video I really want to point out is that you have to focus not only on technical changes, but also on the persons who are involved in the project. You have to focus on them, and you have to focus on the organization from those persons, and you have to focus on the background from those persons. You have to see where they come from. Are the stakeholders, are the developers? And when you pick them up there and you have a good organization and everyone knows what your goal in your project is and understands the problems you will face and the challenges you will face, then you can work on a project very successfully, and then you can reach the goal of the project. If you want us to dive deeper into one of those topics I talked about, or one of those key changes, leave a comment in the section below. And if you're interested in how do you pick people up from where they are and how do you get them involved in your project, just follow the link below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.